Hello, and good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good and wonderful people of the tube. For today, hope you're feeling glad and all's well in your world. Hello, everybody. Howdy. Today, people of the tube, we are modding a guitar, which is something I very rarely do. So, the awesome people at Tonerider Pickups have very kindly sent me some new pickups that I've been working on. They're Noiseless Strat pickups. They reached out to me and asked, would you be interested in trying them? And I'm like, yes. So at this point in time, they're still boxed. I haven't seen them. You haven't seen them. They're still downstairs. So now here comes the problem, people of the tube. And it's a biggie. I haven't got a single guitar that I want to change the pickups on. So there's only one real answer to that problem, which is he's gonna have to buy another guitar. Oh dear. But I have wanted an excuse, and I need an excuse because my brain won't allow it, otherwise I get buyer's guilt on everything I buy, including food. You know, it keeps me alive. But anyway, I have wanted a reason to buy another Jet Strat for, well, since I sold my Greenie one. And so today, people of YouTube, we're going to go to Gallagher's in Grimsby, which is that way, and we're going to go and get a brand new Jet Strat, and we're going to hear it before and after. So hear it with the stock pickups, and I'm going to put these new Tonerider pickups in it, and the quiet ones, and we'll hear it before and after, and we'll also hear about, basically put the Tonerider pickups to the test if they are completely noiseless or not. Really excited to see. But anyway, massive thanks for Tonerider for sending the pickups and actually reaching out and contacting me, because Tonerider pickups are fantastic. They really are. And massive thanks for sending this really cool t-shirt. It's got this really cool design on the back, which I can't show you because it's on my back. But yeah, so anyway, without further ado, let's get in the van, let's go to Grimsby, let's go and pick out a nice new lovely Jet guitar, and then get back here and we can open the pickup box, get them out and have a look. This is one thing of people with YouTube that got me. Normally, noiseless pickups are kind of like two coils stacked together, like stacked pickup. And so you have to have kind of like deeper routes on your guitar, invariably, to fit a noiseless pickup, like a double stack pickup, with a dummy coil to get rid of the hum. Tonerider said, oh, we don't need to do that. So they're just normal kind of Strat size pickups. They've done that. That's witchery. I tell you, that is complete witchcraft, that is. But anyway, like I say, we're not gonna unbox them yet. We're not gonna have a look at them yet. We'll wait till we've got the guitar, and then we'll get back here. We'll shove them in, and we'll hear the guitar before and after as well. And like I say, massive thanks to Tonerider for making me have a reason to buy another Jet guitar. So massively happy. So anyway, let's get on. He's waffling. I don't know what he's even on about. This intro probably made no sense whatsoever. But anyway, Tonerider pickups. Big Paper Tube, we are nearly in the sprawling metropolis known as Grimsby land. Just coming up the old railway line at this point in time. This is the old track bed from Grimsby to Louth. Flying Scotsman's been exactly where we're driving right now. The Flying Scotsman's been here. That always makes me very happy indeed, Paper Tube, when I drive this road. Anyway, one thing I forgot to mention in the intro, Paper Tube, is the fact I'm going into Gallagher's to buy not just any old guitar, or any new guitar, should I say, that'll just kind of like, I can whack these pickups in and go, there you go. I'm treating this exactly like I would be if I was going to buy any guitar in general, which is going by my 3 rules of buying a guitar. Number 3 is it has to look good. I want it to be visually appealing to me, and for me to go, God, that looks amazing, because that will make me actually want to play the thing, instead of it just kind of like sat in a case for the rest of its life and I just bought it because it's a video, you know what I mean? I want to be able to kind of go, I love the way that thing looks, that looks amazing, I love it, and I want to play it. So that's number 3. Number 2 is it has to sound really good in the shop. Now I'm sure for some people are like, hang on a minute Dave, I thought you're changing the pickups, aren't you? So what does it matter what it sounds like? But that is exactly my point. I want it to be a fair fight. You know, I want to give the Toneriders a run for their money, because if the Jet guitar sounds great in the shop, and then when I put these Tonerider pickups in, it sounds even better. You know what I mean? So I want the guitar to sound good from the get-go. You know, otherwise, kind of, what's the point? And finally, number one, the number one thing of all time and space of buying a guitar is the neck, people of the tube. The neck has to be comfy. I want it to feel like I could spend hours on it. If the guitar doesn't play well and feel right in my hand, if the neck doesn't feel right, forget it. I'm not interested. And so I'm going to go through basically, I think, quite a lot of these jets today, and find the one that sits in my hand the best and makes me go, I bloody love the way that one feels. That feels amazing. It sounds great and it looks great. You know, and I'm always kind of like hoping there's a white one, you know what I mean? But who knows, the white one might, if there is a white one, it might not be the one. You have to be open to these things, because invariably sometimes things aren't what they appear to be. But again, that's why rule number 3 of it has to look visually good is rule number 3. The most important one is, does it play really well? Because you can kind of like get around certain visual aspects of things with spray paint. But either way, it's what appeals to you visually. If it looks visually good, it sounds great, and it plays great, that's the one for you. If any one of those things isn't really there, it's time to question it. And if you've got more than one of those things that is missing, like say for instance, like, you know, it looks good but it doesn't play great and it doesn't sound good, don't get it. Same thing if it's the other way around. If it plays really well but doesn't sound very good and doesn't look very good to you, don't get it. You need 2 of them for it to be worthwhile. If one of them is kind of like not quite there, like for instance, if it plays great and it sounds great but it doesn't quite look the way you want, it's still worth getting. But because again, visuals can be got around, things can be modded aesthetically easier than they can be modded sound wise or playing wise. They can be a bit sketchy sometimes. You can very easily tweak your way out of a really good guitar by changing pickups, neck profile, frets, machine heads, all that kind of stuff. You can tweak yourself way out of a really good guitar very easily by doing stuff like that. Whereas visual stuff, you know, spray canning a guitar into a different colour, easy to get around. So anyway, I hope that made some kind of sense. I'm really terrified today. I didn't sleep very well last night, so I'm really terrified that I'm making absolutely 0 sense today. I don't know. Hopefully that made some kind of sense. Anyway, we're nearly there. So yeah, I'll see you in a sec. And apologies for vertical filming, but like, we want to be safe. I want to be able to keep my eyes on the road. But yeah, I forgot to mention that in the intro, so I literally remembered as we like nearing Grimsby. Anyway, Gallagher's Grimsby history for you here. So up here on the right side, I can't remember what it's actually called now, but there, that building we're literally just driving past, Iron Maiden on their first ever UK tour played that venue in there. And the guy who books our gigs, Stephen at Solid Entertainment, was the guy who booked them for that, which is really, really cool. So Iron Maiden in 1980, one of their first ever tour, did that gig, and I've got a story about it I'll tell you in but a second, people, when I get around this corner. Okay, boomer tube. So I bought one. I got a jet, and it's sat on my left side. You saw it in a little clip video, anyway. And I'm just going to finish off what I was saying about the Iron Maiden video, because the Iron Maiden gig, sorry, because I had to pull in and then I got parked and forgot to say hello about it. So here we are again. So stay with me, and then we'll talk about the jet in a bit, because it's absolutely stunning. I'm a bit in love. I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't. Anyway. So yeah, Iron Maiden, yeah, they played Grimsby on their first ever UK tour, and so the guy who books our gig, Solid Entertainment, Stephen, he booked them to play, and it was Paul Di'Anio at the time who was singing. So anyway, they arrived at the gig, and at some point, Paul Di'Anio was outside, and he had a knife in his hand. Where this knife came from or why I had it in his hand, I don't know. People reckon it was because it was something to do with his job he was doing. Anyway, police drove past, saw him with a knife in his hand, arrested him, like you would. You don't know who this guy is. So they arrested him for having this knife on him, took him away. Problem is, the guys are still, Dave Murray, Steve Harris, Dennis Stratton, Clive Burr, they're still at the venue. They've got a gig to do, and Rod, their manager at the time, had just started managing them, and he said, like, to Steve, he says, like, Paul's been nicked, he's gone, he can't do the gig, he's been arrested. And he said to Steve, he says, can you sing? And Steve goes, yeah, I wrote the songs, so I can sing the songs. And I think Rod said something, I was like, well, yeah, he might have wrote the songs, but he definitely couldn't sing them. And they had to do the gig without Paul. They had to do extended instrumental bits, and they got through it. But one of the coolest things that I heard from this story from Stephen was after the gig, obviously, they weren't the Iron Maiden that they were supposed to be. They weren't the Iron Maiden they were booked. And what they did was, they said to Stephen, we'll do this gig at half price, because obviously Paul wasn't there. And he said, what we'll do is, we'll come back and we'll do another gig for you, and we'll do that cheap as well. And they did, which is super cool. And that's just I love that. And I love Iron Maiden, so it makes me very, very happy. And one of the things that made me chuckle though was they got put up, Stephen put them up in a local hotel, and at the point in time they were driving around in this kind of makeshift tour bus. I think it's called they called it the Green Goddess. It was basically like a low-loading truck they converted, gear in the back, them in the front, there was some beds and whatnot. Anyway, they were driving around in that. Anyway, they got a hotel that night in Grimsby, and they obviously had no bedding or anything in the Green Goddess, so they nicked all the pillows and the bedding and got into trouble for it, but they paid for that as well. So they tried it, but they didn't get away with it, but they paid for it all. And like I say, they came back and did a show, and apparently it was amazing, so that's really cool. And the really cool thing about that story is that story made it into the early days documentary of Iron Maiden. So, and I always wondered where that gig was, and the fact it was in Grimsby makes me even happier. So it's really, really cool. So anyway, Iron Maiden story over. Again, I'm terrified that I'm not making any noise. I'm not making any sense today, but hopefully I am. But yeah, people of the tube, where is it? There it is. There's the jet in all its glory. Something about the black and the tortoiseshell guard really got me, and I tried them all. There was another black one in there with a tortoiseshell guard, but this is the thing, it was black, tortoiseshell guard, identical looking guitar, identical electronics, did not sound the same, was a big no. I was like, no, I don't like it. There was a white one, which looked really cool, but again, it just didn't do it for me at all. That one, as soon as I picked it up, I was like, that neck's amazing, I love the way it looks, and then I plugged it in and I was like, this is it, this is the one. It's really light as well, people tube. That's another thing I should start adding onto my list actually. It never used to be an issue, but now my back's knackered. I need to add a fourth thing onto Dave's guitar buying steps, which is weight. The weight of the guitar is kind of important, because my back's knackered now from years and years and years of carrying Marshall stacks around and all sorts of other stuff. So weight has to be a factor now, and that Jet's super light. The other black one weighed a lot more. It was really quite heavy, and it's quite, again, that's the thing, it's like, you know, no two guitars are the same. It doesn't matter if they're built by robots or by hand, none of them are ever the same. This one sounds amazing, it plays amazing. This is going to be cool. This is going to be really cool. Another thing as well, people tube, is I'm going to leave the same strings on there for the entire time. So hopefully I won't break one. So as the strings are now, when we get back, I'll record a little example before we change the pickups over. And then once we change the pickups over, we'll record the example again and we'll do a comparison. Okay, people tube. So done a little bit of work, setup work to the Jet, basically setting up how I would have it. So now we're going to open the box and see the pickups. So I've also literally just recorded as well all the clean examples on the Jet of the original pickups. So here we go. Oh, cool. That's a really cool sticker. This is what's on the back of the t-shirt I'm wearing, by the way, for the tube. Oh, and there's plectrums as well. They're going in the tin. Right. Let's have a Google. Where do I get in? I had to do very minimal setup work too. Oh, that's a very nice box, if I do say so myself. Scatterwow, 5-year warranty, designed in the UK. Can you see that, people tube? You can indeed. That is a very, very nice box. So yeah, before we open this, I've done very minimal work to the Jet to get it. I've got the string height where I like it. I lowered it a bit. So I've changed the action on down here. I've also changed the springs in the back so they're parallel. They're not in that kind of like V formation. I've recut the nut as well. The nut was actually okay, but I like it a little bit lower, so I cut the nut. Other than that, and lowered the pickups as well. The pickups were too high. I don't like ridiculously high Strat pickups, so I've put them down to kind of like where I would have them, and I've just recorded, like, say, clean examples of that upstairs through the Marshall MG. Totally clean, no pedals, tiny little bit of reverb on it, but other than that, totally clean. Bridge, middle, neck. So you'll hear that once we get these installed, as long as I do it right. Right. Ooh. Whoa. I already love the way they look. They look like they're like vintage style pickups. So you got that kind of like beveled edge, which is super cool. Let's have a look. Let's get this foam out. Ooh. Whoa, that's got to be. I was going to say, here we go, people. This is what I was wondering how the hell Apex Classic. I was wondering how they did the noiseless thing, because they are just pretty much the normal size of a single coil. You've got that magnet in the bottom. That's got to obviously be the noise cancelling thing, but that is. I'll tell you what, man. Every time I see a Tonerider pickup, I think, God, that's nicely made. So what's that one? That's the neck pickup. I'm guessing that's the middle. Yeah. There's the bridge. What else have we got in here? Oh, we've got even more mounting screws if we need them. Oh, no, they're different. They're... Okay, cool. That's really cool. I like that. So, what this is, I'll show you what I mean, people tube. So, these pickup screws are kind of like the modern ones. They've got like a domed top, whereas vintage Strat pickups and Fender screws are like this, and they're the ones we're going to be using because that's how the scratch plate on the Jet's made. So that's really cool that they include a set for each. So we're going to be using these because the scratch plate on the Jet is beveled out there. So I need to use them ones anyway, but I would use them anyway because I just like the way they look. I like the screws when they're flush to the plate. I don't really like the dome top ones so much. Anyway, so very nicely packaged though. really lovely. Nice, very nice packaging indeed. And very well packaged, which is always important. Okay, so, and that sticker, oh, there's 2 stickers. They're definitely going somewhere. Okay, well, not throwing around. So now what I need to do, PeopleTube, is I need to get the guitar to pieces, put these pickups in, and, well, get the guitar to pieces, just take the scratch plate off, put the new pickups in, and I'll be back. And I'm not going to show me putting the pickups in because there's 1,000,001 videos out there about putting pickups in. I've just realised there are 3 wires of each pickup. Now, here's something. Right, so there's 3 wires off each pickup. I've just found a fault here. If you've never wired in pickups before, how do you know what wire goes where? Because they're all braided together. And that's a question I'm asking. Because obviously, normally, you have your white lead goes to select switch, black lead goes to the top of your pot, the grounding one. Now, the green one, or yellow, in the case of that one, where the hell does that go? Now, I'm guessing it's just to the top of the pot as well, but I'm going to have to consult their website for that because I'm not 100% sure if it does go there, or does it go to one of the tabs on the pot. Tonerider, we need a little, instead of just a 5-year warranty card, we need a little card about the same size with a wiring schematic for people like me, and there'll be many other people like me, who don't necessarily know or question where the wires go. Other than that, I'm happy as Larry. So anyway, like I say, I'm not going to film me putting these pickups in because, like I say, there's 1,000,001 videos out there of people putting pickups in a guitar. You don't need another one. So I'm going to get them in, spend a bit of time. I'm going to put some Red Dwarf on, which is my always go-to when I do anything on a guitar. And then I'll chat back in with you in a bit, PeopleTube, when the pickups are in. But before we do go though, because you can see here, check out, look, you can see the 3 wires coming through. Very interesting. I wonder if can I just unscrew these a sec? I want to take the cover off actually. Before we get them installed, let's take the cover off because that's being thorough. I'm getting excitable, PeopleTube. I just want to know now. So, so let's get here. That's interesting. So you can, that is very interesting. So that's the coil, but then you've got this thing below it. And you can see these 2 wires there. Very cool. And again, I love they got the staggered poles. I do think staggered pole pieces sound better. Like just flat pole pieces. I do have a couple of guitars like that. And they're okay, but I think these sound better. And I've noticed as well, it's like a 50s kind of stagger on them, where the G string's really high. Is it the G? Yes. No, it's the D string on these. Normally, it's the G string one that's high, but these kind of ramp up, and then like yeah, the G, B, and E are kind of leveled out, and then the E, A, and D kind of stagger. So you can kind of see what I mean by that. These are all the same height, whereas the low strings stagger. That's really cool. Okay, Poochie, I've had to shift over to a Zoom Q8 cam because my phone thinks it's full, and it definitely isn't. So I don't know what's going on there, but that's very frustrating, very annoying, and irritating as all hell. Anyway, pickups are in, looking really, really nice. Not in 4K anymore, but hey, they look good. The original ones are just there. Very nicely wired in though. The original soldering inside the jet was absolutely stunning, absolutely clean as a whistle. So the only thing I've got to do now, PeopleTube, is I've just got to get the heights replicated on the pickups here, and then basically, I'm going to plug it in down here quick as well. I'm just going to try it quickly on my own to make sure it works. And then next thing you'll hear is the back-to-back comparisons, just to see how it goes, and then I'll give you my final thoughts and do a little bit of a play out on this vid, and that'll be that. They look really nice. These Tonerider pickups are really nice. The green wire, as far as I know, should solder to the pot top. That's what I've done. I'm guessing that's where it goes. I'm hoping that's where it goes. Anyway, I have checked it. They are wired in. They are working. I didn't put it back together without actually checking they are all working, and the select switch works correct, and everything's all good. So I've just got to get the pickups right. One other thing to note, people tube, just quickly on the guitar itself, not really an issue, but the tremolo was mounted weird. They hadn't screwed down the bass side properly all the way, so I've had basically just re-screw down the tremolo unit. But other than that, we're all good, and happy is the Dave. So I'm going to get these pickups leveled out, and as I say, the next thing you'll hear is the direct comparisons between the original pickups over there and these pickups. It'll be bridge pickup first as well. So bridge pickup with the original Jet pickup, and then we'll have the Tone. I keep wanting to say Tone City, man. I wonder why. Too many tone things going on. So original Jet bridge pickup, Tonerider Jet bridge pickup. My God. Then Jet middle pickup, Tonerider middle pickup, Jet middle neck pickup, and then Tonerider neck pickup. So let's get on. Anyway, YouTube, we are back to phone cam. I'm an idiot, basically, as I forgot to delete loads of stuff that was in basically the recycling bin on my phone. Basically equated to like 2.5 hours of like videos and pictures in there. No wonder my phone was struggling. Anyway, we're okay now, we're back here. So, YouTube, you've just heard the sound examples. What was your thoughts? Because to me, there was one out and out winner, and I'm not being biased, but the Toneriders just nicked it completely. I loved the sound of the original Jet pickups, but compared to these Tonerider pickups, it was a bit kind of like, argh. Even I have to concede that these are ace. And now it's time to do the ultimate test. Are they noiseless? That's the DS2. Nothing's noiseless with DS2. That was just trying to be... You're trying to be funny, Dave, and you're not funny. Shut it up and do the test properly. Okay, so we're going to put the governor on. So volume's all the way down. Let's turn the amp up a bit. A little bit. Because it's night time and people get shouty when I play that out too much. Anyway, governor's on. Amp is hissing because it's distortion and mass distortion. Now I'm going to turn the volume up. Is it already silent? I already know the answer. Yes. In comparison, people of YouTube, quick, because that's what we should be doing, isn't it? Let's do it. Let me get the let me get my vintage V6 here. That's just behind. Oh my god, it's all going to go wrong. So, in comparison to, watch it, like the vintage is like completely silent now. In comparison to, there. I'll tell you what. Let me do this. I'm not going to actually play. I'm going to have to be careful though, so I don't feed back. But listen. So this is the vintage. Okay, go back to the Jack with the Toneriders. By the way, how many times have I said Tone City? Probably a lot, haven't I? Anyway, back to the Toneriders, quick. Everything's same, volume's all the way up. Governor's still on. All you're getting is the hiss from the pedal, that's because it's distortion. Insanity. How that's possible? How is that possible? I do not know, but I definitely like it. And the thing I really love, people with YouTube as well, is the fact of normally noiseless Strat pickups, well, older noiseless Strat pickups, sound cack to my ears. Like you lose all the kind of like that charm of a Strat sound. Not so with these. What does it sound like with Jack amp? Oh, careful, Dave. Well, spit on me neck and call me Frank. People of the tube, I present to you the Tonerider Apex noiseless pickups, which get the big thumb. They get the big Dave thumbs up from me. That is insane. Oh, by the way, people of the tube, because I'm mental on measuring everything now as well, I weighed this guitar. It's 5.5 pounds. It doesn't weigh anything. Ah, so good. But with the Toneriders, it's even better. My God. I've got a set of jet pickups, if anybody wants them. Anyway, I need to balance the trem better as well, because I need to mess with the trem. I need to mess with the setup of this guitar now, because good gravy lords. It does that thing again. It does that thing that a really good Strat pickup does, it, which it kind of quacks and kind of almost barks at you on the bridge. And then on the neck, it's just that gorgeous Hendrixy thing. insane, Pooh. Massive thanks to Tonerider for sending these pickups over to me. I've just spat on the guitar. Giving me an excuse to buy a Jet guitar for a start, and now to have these pickups in this guitar. Egads, man. I am very, 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 very happy, Dave. Very happy, Dave. And now I'm going to go mental, I think, and mod this guitar even more. I'm going to put different machine heads on it. Maybe. I like these machine heads, though. I do. I'm only thinking it because I'm like thinking, I could actually have a Strat with Silcors live. Because it was one of the main things that kind of like, took me away from using Strats live was all the buzz. It detracted from like certain like dramatic stops we had in Red Giant, and it was like, you know, you'd stop and it'd be like, and like on stages with loads of lights, it was really, really tough. It'd kind of run away with it, and it kind of what stopped me. So next Red Giant gig, Pikachu, I think I might have to drag the Jet along and use the Jet and see how I get on, and I will report back if I do use it. I am a happy little bunny. I am very happy. One thing I will say though is the string alignment is kind of out. I don't really care. I'm just going to say it as an observation. So the strings don't quite go over the pole pieces. Don't seem to make much difference. Anyway, PeopleTube, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I don't actually know the retail price of the Apex Toneriders, to be honest with you, because I think they're new. I think they're like brand new. When this video goes out, they are like brand new pickups. So I don't know what they retail for. But if you're after a noiseless Strat set, I recommend them because I still want to get some City Limits pickups as well, but in a way I kind of just like go, well, I'll just get some more of these now because I can just be quiet Stratty, and they sound like Strats. By the way, when a man loves a woman, that sounded so weird. The song, the Michael Bolton song cover of When a Man Loves a Woman, has got the most amazing guitar solo at the beginning of that song, and it's just a quintessential Strat tone. To me, that's like that's the sound I always think of when I think of like a kind of like a semi-broken up kind of like solo Strat. That's the sound. And here's Henry saying. Get the leg pumping, man. Ooh, it's making me all warm and jiddy inside. Jiddy? I don't know what jiddy is, but hey, that's a new word for today. Anyway, PeopleTube, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm going away now. I will do another jam to end this video with these, but it'll be tomorrow now because it's like really late and people get shouty at me. Anyway, this video will end with a little outro jam on this guitar, but I'm going to go and noodle this downstairs. I still think the neck on this guitar needs a shim. I don't know. I might just play around with this guitar all night now because the night is still young and there is plenty of twinkering time. Shut up, Dave. You're tired. You need to go away. Thank you very much indeed, PeopleTube. I'll see you again. Have a great morning, afternoon, and evening. If you like the channel, please, if you can support it, go to Patreon and become a member there. Keeps this channel breathing. Thank you very much indeed. I will see you again. Links to that in the description box, by the way. And see you again. Let me know your thoughts. I'm in love. Massive thanks to Tonerider. There's the back of a t-shirt, finally. And thank you very much indeed. See you again. Have a good one. Goodbye now. Happy as the Dave.